This video is for the train body work drawing. So we're going to go to File, New, and either work drawing size. So right now our piece of paper is 8 sheets of like regular printer paper. We want to have it shrink down to 4 sheets of printer paper, which would be size C. So instead of size D, we want size C. So we're going to right click on sheet 1, edit sheet, and we can change D to C. We can click OK. So we do not need to change the title block because large is for all the different paper sizes except for A. So now we can go to base. So this time I'm going to leave my train exactly where it is, and I'm just going to click on these little arrows to place in my other views and click OK. And as always, we can double click on the blue sphere, and OK. So now I have my basic views. I'm going to move that down just a smidge, just because I have the room for it. And I'm going to zoom in to this front. So when we annotate, we need to add in our center marks and our center lines. So there are a lot of center marks on our train. So some people are going to ask, should I put the center mark for the hidden line? I'll leave that up to you. Personally, I wouldn't, because it makes it very confusing in some of the spots. But again, it might be a little bit of preference. So the next part I'm going to put in are my center lines. I like to use the center line bisector for this, just because it makes it a little bit easier for what I'm doing. So because I can just click on the 2 lines across from each other and place them in. And here's where some people forget, because they have so many lines going on here. So these are the holes that are drilled into our part that have the threading on them. So that's why we have these 2 dashed lines. One line is to show you where the holes cut in, and the other one's to show you where the threads have been cut into. So how far in the threads have gone. So a lot of these on all the different views. Alright, so just finishing that up. I know it's a little bit off screen there. So zooming will help a lot with this. Alright, so once I'm done with that, again I can press home on my keyboard, right click, and escape, because I have all of them placed in. Okay. The next thing is hole and thread. So we have a lot of holes in our part. So these are kind of everywhere. And for something like this where they're all the same size, if I back out of the tool and then double click on it, TYP for typical. So instead of having to put it on for all of these, I can just have it on one. And I can actually do the same thing for this one over here. So instead of needing both, I can just put one and then delete the other. So remember, whenever you have a hole placed in, I'm going to do the example on this one. Wherever you have a hole placed in, you also need to have the size, which I have right here, and the location. So I'm adding in the location dimensions now. And when you add in the location dimensions, make sure you have it from this center of your circle. That's why we want to put the center marks in first. It makes it a little bit easier to find everything. And then if you need to add in a note, like we have right here, you're going to have the text tool, and you can type in your note. And just for the sake of time, I'm not going to type the whole thing, but it's note round all edges are 0.1 except for drilled holes. Okay, so your note's obviously going to be longer than mine. Alright, so there are a lot more dimensions in here. Because we just put the note in, I know mine's not filled in all the way, yours will be. I don't have to dimension every single one of these. So instead of placing these everywhere, I have my note. So I can just delete that instead. So with this, don't forget to fill in your title block and have all your other dimensions. So let me add this up. So finish adding all your dimensions for this. Don't forget that. And good luck placing all the dimensions in.